My Turn to Rise. My Turn to Rise came out, back in April? But we already knew that we'd have a dream song that would set that up, which became Burning Pages. And we already pretty much knew everything that needed to go into Burning Pages that was gonna set up My Turn to Rise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we're writing My Turn to Rise with that in mind. So again, we talked about that again and again and again reference that goes back to Burning Pages. We already knew that that was going to be a dream motif.
Sunrise. New dawn.
Well, no, that was like the first time I really intentionally did that.
Yeah, I know. But
sunrises and dawns end up coming up a lot. Well, actually, no. So the New Dawn was an accident. And we're going to talk about New Dawn. Because, oh my word, New Dawn. Oh, okay. We'll talk about that. But, Sunrise, that is actually a reference back to You Dreamed a Dream. Because it's no sunrise in You Dreamed a Dream. And now he's starting his song in the same tune as the verses for You Dreamed a Dream, singing Sunrise.
And I don't care.
And I don't care where the lines have been drawn. Here's your horizon, and I'm the rising sun. And I don't know how many people catch that line. It's not rising sun with a U, it's rising sun with an O. Which is my favorite wordplay, and not many people catch it, I don't think, unless you're specifically reading the lyrics.
I don't think people realize how much contributes to the epicness of that. Where you have that slow beginning, and then you have the da-da-da-da, and the maniacal laughter, which is just fantastic.
The maniacal laugh, the maniacal laugh in You Dreamed a Dream is me intentionally trying to do a maniacal laugh, right? The one in My Turn to Rise is literally just how I laugh when I'm being very competitive. Like, I have a specific laugh when I'm just being competitive, and that's the laugh in My Turn to Rise. Mango has heard the laugh, just in normal context.
I'm just gonna give you a picture. There's actually a fantastic cover of this song.
Oh, yes.
That I think it got posted in the Discord. But I was in the car with Knight when we heard it for the first time. We played it on her fancy car speakers.
They're not fancy, they're just car speakers.
They're fancy. They sound better than my car speakers. Anyway, so we both heard it for the first time together.
Which was really fun.
The really cool thing about that one is it's not just a re-performance, it's the best of what a cover can be, in the sense that it's completely reimagined.
Mm-hmm. The style of music is different.
And it still fits amazingly.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking up the name because I'm trying to remember the name. It's like Yeehaw or something.
This creator took it and used a unique style, and it was really cool. But one of the changes that the creator made was the laugh actually did get removed. And it worked perfectly for the song.
Mm-hmm.
But what was funny about it is you get the intro, and it's just amazing and dramatic. And you know me, I can't imagine sounds. I can't remember what it sounds like now, but it was great. And I still listen to it sometimes.
Me too.
But you get through the slow intro, right? And you get the da-da-da-dun, or whatever it was.
I think she used
drums.
I think there were drums in this version.
You think there were drums?
I think it was drums instead of guitar in that version.
But the laugh got removed. But what was funny is that the first listen through, on beat, entirely unintentionally, Knight just bursts into the same maniacal laugh. Not because she's trying to, sing along with the lyrics or anything, but it just bubbled out.
Because I was so excited!
And it sounded exactly... It was a pure, excited laugh. And it sounded exactly like the one in the original song. It was fantastic.
And I didn't realize it until you said something. And you were like, what?
I thought it was great.
Because I was just exciting. I was just jamming out. I was so excited that I just laughed, and
yeah,
it just happened. I don't know. So yeah, that's just my one of my laughs when I'm just super excited or super competitive.
Yeah, that's what her laugh sounds like. It's pretty funny.
Yep, that's just my competitive, super overexcited laugh, which works for that context for Wilbur because he's super excited. He's alive. I would be too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's a fun fact about that laugh. But this song has a lot of references. There's so many lines. We could basically break this song down line by line, because we could probably do that with all of them, but this one I could just go line by line, calling his L'Manberg his symphony, talking about changing the key, turning things around, changing the key because his symphony was L'Manberg and now it's gone, so it's a new song. We're changing the key of the song. That's a musical reference.
Didn't you also tell me that it was a reference to changing the key from, was it the previous song? Was it from Keep Me Alive, or was it from You Dream to Dream?
It was from You Dream to Dream, because it's not that's even though it's the same melody at the very beginning, it's in a different key.
Right. And so it's kind of the idea again of taking someone else's motif and twisting it.
Mm-hmm.
Wilbur just straight up says, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Like, I'm taking that song, I'm just changing the key, which is really fun, really clever. A pat on my back.
I thought that was awesome when you told me that. I still don't understand totally what key is, but it's so great.
Yep, this is what I get to deal with.
This is what...
So, we got that, but then there's the one big reference that nobody could figure out for the longest time. There were so many debates on the Discord server, on the original My Turn to Rise video, on the album, about who in the world are Orpheus and Eurydice in this context. That was such a debacle. So I'm going to clarify right now. We're going to get into like all the mythology stuff, but I feel like now is a good time to reference this one.
Yeah.
And, you can have your own opinions, but there is a correct opinion.
There is a correct one.
There is a correct one of the way we wrote it. How did we write it? And, you can make your own conclusions, but the way we wrote it, and the way Orpheus is used in the entire album, and all 14 songs, Orpheus is always Wilbur. Orpheus is always Wilbur. And Eurydice, that's the one that actually threw more people off. I've gotten everything from it's Sally to it's Fundy, it's Nikki. I've had so many. Eurydice is not a person. Eurydice is L'Manberg. Eurydice is Wilbur's term for L'Manberg. He is Orpheus. L'Manberg is Eurydice. He is the one that was bound to L'Manberg, and it was destroyed. It was taken away from him, and he tried to take it back. He tried to go back and take it from Schlatt, just as Orpheus tried to go back and take his dead wife Eurydice from Hades, and both failed. Orpheus was not able to take Eurydice out of Hades because he looked back at her on their way out, against Hades' orders. And Wilbur couldn't accept the changes that had come over L'Manberg and destroyed it himself. Which is a twisted version of the myth.
It gets touched on in Burning Pages, actually. That idea that you thought that he'd save her.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, he dragged her down.
Dragged her deeper in this version. In both versions, though, Orpheus does manage to eventually come out of Hades. Orpheus just doesn't get to come back out with Eurydice, and he's devastated. Wilbur is resurrected and is elated.
Mm-hmm.
He's back to life, and he doesn't care that there's no more Eurydice. So that's what the line, wondering how, out of the ground, no more Eurydice, means. He is now wondering how he's out of the ground, out of Hades, out of death, but there's no more Eurydice. Then later on in the bridge, we have this Orpheus talking about himself. This Orpheus has done the act, has destroyed L'Manberg. They can never take her back from me. They can never take L'Manberg, Eurydice, back from him because he has destroyed it. So it's a twisted version of Orpheus and Eurydice. But Orpheus is Wilbur, Eurydice is L'Manberg. That is the correct answer in Babel Has Fallen. And again, because it's the song, you can have your own interpretations. But if you want the objectively, how did we write it, correct answer, that is the correct answer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Put all the arguments to rest. That was the intention of the songwriters.
Also like to point out down here in verse 3, desecration. This is back when we thought that Precipice was going to be called Desecration. So we actually deliberately set up for that with that reference that just didn't end up coming to fruition. But it still sounds great.
It's a great rhyme, though. I still love those lines. But yeah, this song, it's really fun. I think this was one of, I don't know, I really like this one. Stylistically, I feel like it's kind of different than a lot of my other songs. Like, it's a little more rock heavy.
Yeah.
But I really like it. And I love the bridge.
Yeah.
Because we have all these mythology references, again, which we'll get into later on.
Icarus, Theseus.
Thanatos, Orpheus, and Eurydice. All these going on.
His commentary on each of them is very interesting.
Icarus can fly the race. He'll always be in second place.
Theseus, your story's old. That's just harsh.
Thanatos with broken wings. Don't you dare abandon me.
Such a great line.
We'll revisit those lines when we do the mythology breakdown.
Also, I remember you telling me when this song came out
yes,
that your dad was actually listening to the premiere.
Both my parents. So when we premiered My Turn to Rise, I hadn't shared the song with my parents yet, but both of my parents tuned into the live premiere. And so they both heard the chorus, "Father, what do you think of me now?" As I'm uploading Dream SMP music onto YouTube. No, they actually loved it. They loved the song. They're super supportive of all of this.
Yeah. The other thing I want to just throw out there, this is very subtle, and I actually forgot about it. But in verse 3, towers rising just like last time, foundations built on your crime. You can see again very subtly the Babel motif. The Tower of Babel is back.
Well, this is him talking to Quackity, saying, "Looking on at this desecration," he's talking about Las Nevadas, "I see I was your inspiration. I see towers rising, just like last time, with L'Manberg being Babel, foundations built on your crime." So L'Manberg is one twisted Babel, and he's saying that Las Nevadas is the next twisted Babel. It's the next twisted symphony that Quackity is trying to write. Because Quackity doesn't want his legacy to be a series of broken symphonies, so he's doing his own symphony this time.
And indirectly, what that actually tells you is that even though he's trying to defy Wilbur, he's still bought into the ideology of Wilbur. This concept of legacy and symphony, it's the same idea. And then you have the again and again, which we talked about a little bit. Or
that again and again theme, which is Dream's motif, burning the pages again and again. So when Wilbur comes to life, he's singing in Dream's tune about coming back to life, and then later is singing again and again and again, just like Dream.
The goal of this song is to show exactly how much Dream influenced Wilbur, even though Wilbur was, in name at least, defying Dream. Kind of like I said with Quackity a minute ago, he's already bought into the ideology.
But also how he sees him as his rescuer, because at this point he's rescued him, he's resurrected him. So, sort of payback.
I don't know if we necessarily need to read these, but you should scroll down to page 3 and see see the notes down there.
Quackity and Wilbur fight. You have my attention. You want my dignity. You want my wisdom. Try to pry it from my brain. You know my reputation. Your charity is insulting. I actually did use that.
Yeah.
I do not need your charity.
Yeah. I'd forgotten this was down here.
I think this was just me writing notes about I think I was watching the Quackity Wilbur stream, and that was just notes from that.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I'd forgotten that was down there. I thought it was just interesting to kind of see the thought process on this one. Because I don't remember it too well.
Yeah.
Alright, what's up next?
Forevermore.